Hi everybody, this is Betsy Lafferty and this is my EDL 854 Mod 12 case study. First, to summarize this case, Mr. Santos was the principal of Briardale Elementary School. It was a K-5 building that had approximately 600 students. Its main curriculum just focused on basic skills and instructional objectives. However, if the school wanted to have any types of supplemental curriculum, that had to be done and founded through a foundation. Each school had a foundation of its own, and it was set up. A parent volunteer was elected the president of the foundation, and that is how the main fundraising happened for all the supplemental curriculum. Mr. Barely was Briardale's new president of the foundation. He wanted to raise record amounts of funds in order to have more innovative curriculum offered. Mr. Morley was a foundation president of another elementary school. Him and Mr. Barely had a little bit of a beef earlier on. They were both Harvard grads, and so they had a little bit of past history. Mr. Barely decided that, with permission from the board and Mr. Santos, that he wanted to do a cash raffle and hopefully have it be one of the most successful fundraisers in school history. On the night of the raffle, they thought it was going to be a great night. A sheriff showed up and arrested Mr. Barely. Someone apparently had given them information that no one else knew, and he was arrested right before the first ticket was drawn. He was booked and then convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation for his role in the cash raffle. Mr. Santos and the school really got a black eye from this. It was on the front page, and it really hurt the trust that the community had in the school. Some legal and ethical issues in this case. First off, just Mr. Santos and Briardale's reputation was really tarnished. The arrest and conviction of Mr. Barely was very embarrassing, and even though Mr. Santos didn't realize they were doing something wrong or take part in the wrongdoing, his lack of foresight really hurt the school. One of the legal issues, of course, was Mr. Barely being arrested and then convicted of a misdemeanor. Someone who had supposed inside information had called the sheriff, and that's how it kind of led to his arrest. And the fundraiser, though, was actually approved by Mr. Santos and the committee, so they thought everything was okay, but obviously it was not. And then I think another ethical issue would just be the kind of background checks for the parents that they allow to be foundation presidents. They really need to validate who is working for them, what their motives are, and what their backgrounds are like. If I had to sum this up in one sentence, I would say the reputation of Briardale and Mr. Santos has been tarnished due to the foundation president, Mr. Barely, being arrested and convicted of a misdemeanor in connection with the school's cash raffle fundraiser. Let's just look at some of the facts. The people that are involved would be Mr. Santos, who's the school principal. He really thought he was doing a great job and had a handle on everything. Mr. Barely was also a main player. He was the foundation president for Briardale, and he was a Harvard grad. Mr. Morley was also a foundation president at a rival school. They had a background issue from when they were at Harvard, and so they were very competitive with one another. And then the sheriff is also involved. He was tipped off and then arrested Mr. Barely at the fundraiser. And some of the fewer players would be people like the committee, the curriculum committees, and then the students. Where this took place was at Briardale Elementary School. Like we mentioned earlier, it was a K-5 building with about 600 students. Many community activities were actually held at Briardale. It was kind of a community meeting place. The school setting is a very diverse community, which is a nice thing, and most teachers there are long-term and have spent most of their careers there. The programs at Briardale, all the schools' curriculum was just basically skills and things like that. Any supplemental curriculum had to be funded by a foundation. This includes things such as art and music and foreign languages. A parent volunteer would become the president of the foundations and develop the fundraising and work on those things. And then even though the foundation raised money for the new curriculum, it did have to be approved by the principal and the site curriculum committee. Let's just review some information. What did this do to the school? It was really detrimental to the school and the principal's reputation. Stakeholders such as students could also be negatively affected because if they're not getting the supplemental curriculum such as art and music, that could really hurt their education. And I also think there's now a great lack of trust between the stakeholders such as the community, teachers, and parents, and the school and Mr. Santos himself. What's at stake? I think students really maybe have the most at stake in this problem, even though they weren't technically involved in the situation. They need that supplemental curriculum to help round out their education. I think teachers also could be negatively affected if they don't have access to teach the supplemental curriculum that they think that their students need. And then Mr. Santos, even though he seemed to be doing a pretty good job, this really was not good for his reputation, and he's going to have to do some things to earn the trust back. Consulting stakeholders. Principal Santos and the curriculum committee were informed of this raffle. They actually approved it and didn't really look into it to see if it was legal or not. And then students or community weren't consulted, but in this case, I think that's okay. They did not have a large part in having to recognize or approve anything, and so that is why they weren't consulted. If I am looking at this, I do have some additional questions than what was given. I really kind of want to know what the process or protocol is for Mr. Santos and the committee to go through when they are approving fundraisers. Are there certain things they look at? Are they researching? Or are they just thinking things are good ideas and moving forward? I also want to know if Mr. Barely was really checked out or interviewed before he became the foundation president. I think it would be good to know what his background was and what his motives were. And then the study also suggested that the person who turned Mr. Barely in to the authorities knew something extra. Does that mean more than just the cash raffle, something in his background, or simply that the cash raffle was illegal? Do I know enough to make a decision? I really think that I can make an educated decision. Although this situation was super embarrassing and unfortunate, it really shows that there's deficiencies in the policies in place, and those need to be fixed and changed. And while I think answers to the questions that I asked on the last slide would help, the rest has been made, and it's really time to move forward in a positive manner and begin trying to fix it and figure out how to make the schools better. Some options and consequences. The first option could just be that Mr. Santos actually takes no action. He says, yep, it was a mistake, but I'll just do better next time. And so he doesn't change anything or make any improvements. A second option could be that Mr. Santos is fired for his role in this mishap. The foundations in all the schools could also be suspended and money-raising activities stopped until further notice. Option 3 could be meet with the superintendent and all the principals from the schools in the district and talk about the policies that they have in regards to, finding the foundation presidents, how fundraisers are chosen, what is the chain of command and guidelines for approval. Another option would be to bring Mr. Morley in and really find out what his role in all of this was. Investigate his role in the whistleblowing and why he didn't, if he was involved, contact the schools, but went straight to the authorities. Option 5 would be to create new policies to aid the principals in selecting new presidents for the foundations. I think it's also to make sure policies are in place that lay out duties of the presidents, the chain of command in getting approval for things, and then also expectations for the foundation presidents. And then the last option that I thought of would also be look at the funding formula for the supplemental. curriculum? Would there be a way to stop individual foundations to take away some of that competition and to actually maybe make one large foundation that would work for all the schools? So maybe everyone was on an even playing field. Let's evaluate the options. So the first option was for Mr. Santos to do nothing. I think this is a very poor option. I think he would lose more respect. People would think that he wasn't taking care of the errors that occurred. So he's going to have to gain back that trust and respect from the community and stakeholders. And so not dealing with it just really makes it even worse for him. Option number 2 would be firing Mr. Santos and then getting rid of or suspending the foundations. I really don't think maybe this is the greatest alternative either. What happened was bad and was embarrassing, but Mr. Santos was not trying to do something illegal. And I think suspending the foundations could also be debilitating to not just the individual schools, but the district itself. Option 3 would be to have that comprehensive meeting with all the principals and superintendent. I think this would allow for a great exchange of ideas. It would help put all the schools on the same page and maybe figure out some great new policies to put in place. Option 4 would be due to the past relationship and competition between Mr. Barely and Mr. Morley. I think it would be really important to determine Mr. Morley's involvement in this whole case. And I think it's important to understand why he would not come to the school itself and go straight to police. To me, that shows that he does not have the best interest of the school or the students in his heart. Option 5 would be if new policies can be created, they should lay out the procedures, expectations of the foundation presidents. The chain of command should be clearly stated. And I think if you had specific policies in place that cover the entire district, then everyone's on the same playing field, everyone understands what's going on, and it just helps the district as a whole. And then the last option would be to look at the funding formula. Is it smart to have foundations for each school, or should we look at a school-wide foundation system that would allow for teamwork instead of competition? And I think that could also build a positive culture. I think options 3 through 6 would be the best. First of all, the meeting with the superintendent and the principals would be great for the entire school district. Mr. Morley needs to be interviewed and determined what his role in all this was. New policies need to be created and crafted to put everybody on the same page, and then looking at that funding formula and finding the best way to fund the supplemental curriculum without the competition. How I would implement things. First of all, I would just schedule the district-wide meeting with the superintendent and all the principals. We'd get together, find out what issues and what good things are happening, and put policies in place that really work and that encompass the entire district. I think Mr. Santos, the superintendent, and Mr. Morley should meet. We really need to find out what he did. If he really, was just going after Mr. Barely and it was a personal vendetta, then he doesn't have any business working with our school and our kids, because we need we need people to work for us that really care about the kids in the school and not just about themselves and embarrassing other people. I think that the information that was gathered from step 1 in that superintendent principals meeting can be used to craft then new policies. The policies can be district-wide. They can set fundraiser guidelines, choosing new foundation presidents and such. And then lastly, we need to look at the funding formula because of the competitiveness. And maybe a new formula should be considered. And the foundations, they shouldn't cause resentment amongst the schools. They should actually be funding everyone. And so I think we implement and figure out a better way to fund the supplemental curriculum. Some final thoughts I have is, I think we can't get too comfortable as leaders. We can't assume that we're the best. We always have to continue to learn and make sure that everything's on the up and up. Also, fundraising is essential. And so we have to put the desire, though, to make money aside and really keep that common sense in the forefront. We'd love to trust every volunteer, but we have to really vet them and make sure that they have the best interest of our kids in school at heart. And then lastly is learning from mistakes is imperative. When issues like this happen, we just simply have to evaluate and implement policies that are going to protect us from future mistakes like this. I hope all that made sense. I really enjoyed this class and this assignment, and it really helped me think as a broader leader. So thank you. Have a great night.